Hello, welcome to another Max 9 tutorial. This is number 37. Jitter effects. Video becomes audio. And if you noticed that our last video was audio becomes video, the spiral has begun. Yes, there's no stopping you. And I would also recommend, that you go and get the last tutorial and start here because it's just too much to go over. This is audio becoming video, and we're going to take one of the videos and turn it into audio in a new way. So having said that, some people should go back to the last video and others should make some room, which is what I'm doing right here, so that we can get in here and add on. So here we have some sound coming out and it's being caught by catch and turned into a matrix called catchy, which is then coming out through the JIT op with the crash test movie also coming out. Just for, because it'll show off the sound better, I'm going to replace Crash Test Movie, and besides, why not live a little, with the B-Ball movie for the time being, and that way, I think this will make a better sound because it has a higher amount of difference as you go across the plane. But you'll see what I'm talking about in a few little minutes. So let's make some space here, and we'll move this P window over here. And what we'll make is another matrix to catch what's coming out here from the combination of B-ball and catchy. So here we'll just make a type letter J, and then matrix, and then let's name it Patchy, because that's cute. Okay, Patchy. And like catchy, Patchy's going to have 4 planes, alpha, red, green, blue. It's also going to be a float 32 number, which I believe means 0 to 1 decimals, with the possibility of 32 places. So that's my beliefs. If anybody knows better, correct me. And we're going to make it the same dimensions, just in case we need them to work together, which we do. Okay, so we make this, the output of this then comes out to this JIT matrix. And weirdly enough, that sort of takes care of that. Don't know if we need to do any more with that. We come over here and we make a new JIT object by typing in JIT and P-E-E-K tilde JIT peak. And what it does is it peaks into a matrix and it interprets the matrix as an audio signal. That is just what it does. And doing what we sometimes do here, I'm going to take the helpful help files. I'm going to option click on this to get the help file. And then I'm going to go in and get this part because I don't feel like having to do it myself. So I'm going to unlock it. And then copy those items and close it. And then come down here and paste them. Oh, they pasted way over there. We bring it right back to here. And connect this one to the left-hand inlet and this one to the right-hand inlet. And now we see also that we have forgotten something, which I noticed in the help file, to be honest. I was just not paying attention. JIT peak is going to access Patchy, the JIT matrix, so we have to name it Patchy. And then we also have to tell it the input count. Let's go with 2, and also what plane it's going to interpret. So let's just put in 2 for that also, because I haven't decided how this thing counts, whether it counts 0, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4 when it counts the planes. We'll figure it out, but it has to, it only interprets one of the planes at a time, I believe. That is my belief. So, there might be a way to do multiple planes, but it's not as necessary, and it becomes complicated. So, what goes on here? This is a phasor, and what a phasor does is it ramps up from 0 to 1 a certain number of times per second. And this will tell it how many times to do that, the scrub rate. So how many times is it going to essentially go from 0 to 1? You're going to multiply it by 320 because it's going from 0 to 1, therefore in decimal form, but we want it to pick across the matrix going from 1 to 320. So we're going to multiply by 320. Is that clear? That is the dimension, the wide dimension of our matrix. And it's going to run across there. Then signal, we send this a signal in order to tell it where to scrub across this matrix. So this would be 0 up at the top and it would go across here. But if we entered, let's say, half of 240, that would be 120, it would check all the way across the middle, and if it was 240, it would run across the bottom. Obviously, we don't want it to be greater than 240. So it looks like this thing's set to scrub at 3 times per second, so we'll set this at 3 and feel like we've put everything in order here, and we'll set this one at 120 so that it scrubs across the middle the middle of this matrix. And so we're going to get some audio out of here, so of course we're going to want an easy DAC. Though technically we could just hook to the easy DAC over here, but we'll just have another one over here for wiring convenience. And we'll put a live gain in here. There we go, live gain. Can resize that a little just so it fits in there. And this is a monophonic output, so I'm going to just shift click and then get the other input there. And then we'll want the left. There we go. We can already hear it doing what it does. So I'm going to turn my, let's see if we can get a scope on this here, just for fun. New object, scope, scope, scope. Take a look at it. So it is now sweeping across here, and this is what it's seeing. I'm going to lock my patcher for a second. Even though this isn't running, it sees it. So let's go ahead and play this. So now this is what's in here. And, oh, it's not looping. There we go. There we go. So now we have, I guess we could have this playing too, but I'm going to turn the sound way down. So obviously when this is playing, there's a lot for it to read going across. So I'm going to stop this one. There we go. Or maybe I could go to pass all the way across. So we have this coming down, and it is now reading, and this is how many times per second it reads. So as you can hear, that's significantly faster. Right. So reading across there, and what part is it reading is where this thing is. And it will also have a I'm sort of wondering if we need this thing to go in here, but really don't. if we were reading, say, for example, there we go. So it is 0, 1, 2, I think. So let's say this were, we pass the other way around. Now we'll just get this video coming in, and we won't have to worry about this, I think. Let's try it. Yeah. So even though this is coming through, it's not interrupting that particular, because it's looking at one of these two planes. And I'm going to turn this one as well, just to minimize the look to it. And I'm going to slow this back down to 3 so that we can sort of see the shape. And I think what you're seeing here, the sudden dip going across here, is it scanning the red shirt, which then goes off the page, and it's coming back on. And this is the sound it's making. I'll turn that up a little bit. Right. And would it be different if it were a different video? Of course it would. So let's see what we got here. Countdown would be very, very different, right? So it's seeing the different stripes across here. I imagine if we moved this up near the top by making it closer to 0, we'd get kind of less interference from the white. So now it's reading just through the black zone, and there's nothing for it to read. But as we increase this number, it starts detecting the top of the signal, and now when we get down to 120, it's in the middle, and then we'll go to 236, and it's once again missing it. So that is a way. Let's put something more exciting in there. Dishes might be interesting. So now it's sort of reading through all these bowls here and there. Let's go up near the right. And so we've done it. We have converted a video matrix into a sound that is now being output, and we can also add back into that, since we'd sort of put all this on pass. So let's see what happens if we, let's say, averaged it. We should get some, yeah, much more interesting, right? So depending on what you're doing and how the video is changing, you're going to get some more interesting sounds. Now you're noticing this sound is now going to start to be a lot more like jongling. Well, that is super exciting. I'm just going to turn the sound down on this, because I just want to say that I know as well as you do what you're really expecting is, how do we make this whole thing circle around in an insane way and just go right over the top? And I'll tell you, 2 tutorials ago, I'll have to check the number of that tutorial, we were taking sound output and using it to drive an effect. And we can still do that. Nothing's stopping us. We have the technology. And what we were doing was using the tool average. So I'm going to just type in N. I'm going to type AVG. There it is. And you may remember that average then spits out a number. I'll just type in F for a float. From the sound of something, we're going to use the sound from here. Why not? into the average, and then we just need something to bang this sound out. Luckily we have a Q Metro all the way over here, but it still works. And there it is. It's running this up and down. Oh, this is so exciting to have things that are just naturally working for us. We're going to type N. We're going to say we want to scale that. And what are we going to, it looks like it's going from about 0 up to, I'm going to say 0 to 0.4. 0.0 to 0.4 coming into it. And what do we want coming out? Haven't decided yet, but let's say something between 0.0 and 1.0 if it's any typical effect. We haven't even decided on the effect yet, so there we go. So we'll be scaling that, and I'll put in F underneath it so we can see what's coming out. Fantastic. So what effect, and what would we do the effect to? I guess we would go with, let's see, JIT. How about rotation? I don't think anyone's used that yet. And we can use rotation to rotate the dishes if we want to. So it'll literally be feeding back into itself sound-wise. So I'm going to hit the Shift key, drop that right in there. I'm going to pull this over here though so we can sort of see it working. And then highlighting the JIT rota, let's call it rota. One of its attributes is, I believe, theta. The rotation angle in radians. Radians? How am I going to figure out what a radian is? I may have to stop and do some quick research, but we know what the word is, which is theta. So we can say prepend, prepend theta. And if we run that into JIT rota, and then we connect this to it, we'll be able to control the output by scale. Ha! I knew I could get out of that. And now or maybe we don't want to. Look over here how that's working so well already. Now, I'm not saying that this is perfect. Far from it. But if we adjust the maximum output number, which would be right here, which we can do with by typing an F to get a float box, and there it is. Maximum output number, let's say, could be, let's just try 2 and see what it does. Whoops, 2. Yeah, it goes right off the scale there, right out. So anyway, we've got the whole thing. We've got the snake eating its tail here, and oh, we don't have it playing right now. Let's lock our patcher and make it play. So there's the dishes, which playing. I may have done what they call overload my computer, as I sometimes do. Let me try reloading dishes in there, or something else. Let's see. Let's try the b-ball thing again. B-ball, put it on loop, play it. There it goes. So now we can see that it's just knocking it right out of there. So I'm going to turn this back down to somewhere more around 1 because it's a little bit more of it interesting as it kind of jumps up and down. So there you go. And I'll turn this up so we can all enjoy the sound. I can now turn this one up so we can hear the old jongly going on. So it's a nice balance. Well, we've done it all, people. We have turned sound into video. We have turned video into sound right here. We've taken the sound, we've driven an effect to affect the video that we are turning into sound. So with that, and my own serpent's tail feeling nibbled on, I leave you to complete your experiments in Max. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.